What's up, guys? Armax has a new Armax. I think it's a YouTube channel. They publish some of the crazy videos out there, and they have a new video about a 120-year-old lady who was a virgin, who's never been married, but she had the desire. She has the desire. For a very long time, she didn't.
Boys in their culture, and it was a taboo for a woman to be formed together with a man.
nta mukobwa wajyaga guhagararana n'umuhungu ngo bahagararane reka 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 reka.
Teresia followed this principle of the time, but on a personal level, she actually never developed any feelings for a man and preferred to live alone despite her best efforts of her parents and friends who requested her to accept men and marry.
I wanted to talk about that, particularly looking at human lifespan. And I wanted to talk about human lifespan because I think it's one of the most important pieces of things that we might think about, but we don't fully comprehend sometimes. It's the Direct Reality Show with the daily Christian commentary videos. Of course, we don't call it Direct Reality Show without the reality coming into check. And so this subject has gripped a lot of people online. They're talking about it. And there was something that I wanted to highlight here. I don't want to focus this story too much about her. Because for her, she lived in a certain type of a society. And for the longest time, there wasn't interaction between the men and the females. And so because of this, there was a period in her life where she never had that much approach. She was just busy, tending to this, whatnots, family things, chores and whatnots, right? And so she got into doing those things. And then later on in her life, she came to a point where she was just not interested. But with this idea of not being interested, she never had time to think about what exactly are her interests, right? And what exactly are her interests? Why is that important? Because this will help you know, if I change my mind, what then? Because that's the case for her. She later on changed her mind and she started to feel like, you know what? I would like to get married. But by that time, nobody was asking anymore. Because by the period when they were asking, she was not interested. So those people, they move on with their lives, right? And that's the thing that I felt needed us to have a conversation. A lot of times we treat life as if you are God. Yeah, that's really the case. You treat life like you're God. And yes, there are people that are not interested in getting married right now, right? There are people that are not interested in having families and stuff. Fine. But when you change your mind, don't then blame society because they are not coming. Okay? Because you had the choice, but you dismissed it. So when you're making the decision right now, beware of it, fully comprehend the decision you're making. I once made a video last year around this period, and I said, you know what? Many of us are portraying ourselves online a certain way, right? And we don't think about the opposite side of how people are seeing us. And we don't think that's going to affect us. We don't think of how these people that are seeing us are perceiving us. Now, sometimes, I'm going to do me. Listen, man, you can do you. But don't be shocked when you find out that doing you has caused a certain person to have a certain perspective that distances them from you. We don't get to dictate what that picture looks like for them, right? There is an aspect of us that needs attraction. So whether you like it or not, there is a part of us that needs to have some form of attraction. And so that draws people in. If the light went poof, wouldn't have been magic if Eskom switched them off exactly. Right? Wouldn't it be something that if the light went off, you were still able to see me? If I could still draw attraction to something else of myself. But if we keep portraying ourselves as nasty, without pity, without mercy, ungracious, ungrateful, unapproachable, harsh, untolerable. The tolerance that we have for other people is just so absurd that people just distance themselves. It's better for their life to be away from you than to be next to you. If we created that type of an environment around ourselves, we shouldn't be shocked when people don't want to be around us. There is value in the investment we do in each other. And by each other, I don't mean you watching this channel and then we have these conversations and that's it. No, I'm talking about there is value in you building on the relationships you have. We have made each other toilet humor. We've turned each other into toilet humor. No good for nothing. I'm just going to take this and toss it to the dustbin. At the end of the day, we are not able to discern where is the right. Now, if you never build any relationships, let's say for instance, we go back to the story of this lady. We never built any relationships. And at any chance a relationship came, you turned these relationships away. At a later on age, you decide to change your mind. Remember the decisions that you took and remember what those decisions meant for the people that came to you, right? Some people, you get into conversations with them, the first thing they bring up are political views. Your political views are likely going to change. Personally, I had a very good, healthy family life. I have very good role models. I mean, like some of y'all that don't even survive like 5 years in a relationship, that's not my role models. Okay, I have family members that have been married that have been together for like 19, 20 years. You are not my role model. Okay, I got role models like for reals. My neighbors back in Limpopo married for over 30 years, and my next door neighbor after that is married for over 30 years as well. They never had a child for the longest time in their relationship. They only had a child when they were in their late 40s, 50s. Yeah. Those are the people that I'm talking about. Those are the kind of relationships that I'm talking about. When I say I had very positive views, I had another relationship. You know what? Like where I stayed, the three families that were right in front of my house all had father. They were married husband wife, married husband wife, married husband wife, married husband wife, and they were all teacher families. All of them, they were all teachers. You know, some barren. These ones had kids. These ones, they had kids. Their kids went on to be doctors and whatnot and stuff like that. And so, but in my family, I didn't have a thing, and I never felt the absence of a father, because I lived in a very healthy environment for my growth. It never really affected me like that. For other people, it does come up, but for me, it didn't. But the one thing that I want to bring up here is these healthy relationships made me desire to have my own family. They made me question enough that I saw the positivity of these family structures and stuff. Like I said, in my own family, I have somebody, they've been together for over 20 years. I think it's 20 this year, actually. You know? They were together all the way from high school, all the way till they started working, all the way towards their first car, first child, the whole 9 yards. And so this type of interactions. And so as you are there and you're seeing all these positive interactions next to you, what does that tell you? Like I told the story about my stepdad, right? Those are the examples I'm talking about. A person who self-sacrificial, willing to do something just for another person. You know, those interactions tell you I want to be that person. You know, you see a real man, and you see a real man step into a situation which was not his. My stepdad doesn't have to be there, and he makes sacrifices that, you know what, I'm not gonna do this just so you can you can have a beneficial life. You see those type of people, and those type of people tell you the kind of a spirit a man has, and so those are the roles that I then take after that, right? And so these interactions you are having, unfortunately, some people fill themselves up with delusion so much that at the end of the day, you're just filled with the delusions of social media influencers and people that are making videos online, that you don't have like a positive outview of your own life. Yes, that's their experience, but what's yours? Oh yeah, somebody said this, they did this, and then they go out there, oh guys, don't do this, but what's your experience? What does it look like for you? Can you stop, think about it before you go out there, make decisions that 10 years from now you will sit back and you will think, Ricky once made that video and I thought I had it intact. I'm independent, I don't need nobody. Then a lady, the EFF lady, she comes out doing bogoto, women by themselves, what. Of course, I guess the EFF told her to delete that channel and all that. And then guess what? 3 years later, she's getting married. Oh, wait a minute, I thought you was against the opposite sex. So she passed those ideas and then she can live on with her life, right? Like I stated, that was her video in some rally where she was posting these weird ideas and stuff like that. People pass on these ideas and then they live their life. And then you are stuck in that idea as your life. You are stuck in the idea of a social media influencer. You've never thought about what's your life? What does it look like? Being you, in your position. You change your mind 20 years later. God forbid, 100 years later. You know? And then there's just nobody asking. There's just nobody asking. Because at the moment of that decision, it didn't cross your mind that there might be that day where I might change my mind. That's what I mostly say about emotions and stuff like that, and all these decisions that are based off of emotion. You're going to feel differently tomorrow. You're going to feel differently about this. Give it a second thought. It's the Rex Reality Show. We do daily Christian commentary videos. I know I was ranting on this video. This is a subject matter I care about, because in today's age, where people are just throwing out ideas, everybody can just pick up a camera and throw out ideas and mislead an entire generation. They can mislead people to be so self-centered. I remember one social media influencer saying that, if a relationship doesn't benefit her, she's just not interested. I'm like, are you listening to yourself? If the other person said the same thing, there's no relationship. How can a relationship just center around you? It's not a relationship. You're a narcissist. It's the Rex Reality Show. The reality needs to come out clear. We have to get out of these bubbles that we have created on social media and live with the realities of the decisions we're making. Today you feel like this, but tomorrow you might change your mind. See, this lady, she made her decisions, she made up her mind. But 50 years later, she changed her mind. And she's like, you know what? It would be something to have a family.